Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing my top 10 favorite camping items from Amazon that are under $10. These are all items that we have used when our family goes camping, and we do go camping a lot. So I know that they are useful, so if you are new to camping or just like gear ideas, I hope that this video helps you. None of this gear is sponsored, but I will have links below for the most current prices. So let's get started with some of the cheap gear that I actually use. So obviously a lot of the stuff in this video is not going to be very big because we're not talking about a lot of money. But one of the first things that we have purchased that actually gets used a lot is an egg holder. When I first purchased this, I thought, well, it's kind of a waste of money. So it's not too much. I mean, I paid about $5 for this. But it's actually very, very useful. We haven't had any broken eggs, and we used to just throw eggs in the carton into the cooler, and we didn't have too many issues, but the egg carton would get all soggy and sometimes they would break. But honestly, I haven't had any eggs break in here, and this does hold 12 eggs. I know they have sets that hold 6 eggs, and it folds up even smaller than the cardboard egg package when you just put it into your cooler. So we usually have it on the side. It's not too big of a deal, or if you lay it flat and you put stuff on it, it's not gonna break it. So this is actually something, it's not gonna cost you a lot of money, and it feels kind of gimmicky, but we have found it to be very useful. So we're gonna stay in the cooking theme to start, and number 2 is a toaster that you put on your gas stove. And this thing is also one of those, like, should I buy it? Will it work? And we picked one up in 2020, and now basically I buy a new one every year. I've already bought a new one for this year because these don't cost too much. I have to buy a new one every year because they get used so much. They do tend to warp after a while. You know, they're not the highest quality. You can pick these up also for about $5. Lay it on your stove and you'll put your bread or your bagels or anything that you want to toast on it, and it works really, really well. It works the best on a gas stove, so if you have like a Coleman gas stove or anything like that. And as you can see, we've used it a lot. This is from last summer. This is my new one for this summer. Different brands, but they're basically the same thing. So you kind of just find the cheapest one that works for you. And this is something that I highly recommend because we use it quite a bit. So number 3 and 4 on my list are camping utensils. In this price range, you're looking at plastic utensils. This first one is by Uco. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this is the eco version, so it's made out of recycled polypropylene. This is the same material that my GSI camping plates are made of. This is a food safe material, and it is BPA free and phthalate free. A spoon on one end, and it has the fork on the other. They have another version. The other version is made from BPA and phthalate free high strength reinforced glass nylon, and they have put some holes in here to make them a little bit lighter, but they're not heavy. And at this price range, I'm not really worried about how much stuff weighs, but these are pretty strong. This is the eco version. The other version, you can buy about 4 of them for about $10, so they're not a bad deal. And number 4 is the Light My Fire spork. It's kind of the same thing. It's got a little bit more of a curve to it. This one's a little bit flatter, but it has the fork on one end and the spoon on the other end with the serrated edge. This one is made in Sweden, the other is made in China, so you're still importing both of these. This is also BPA free. As I've said, I've used this one quite a bit, so I've kind of melted off the edges on the end, as you can see here. But these spoons are a good deal. You can buy a 2-pack of these for about $8. 5 on my list is some marshmallow sticks. You can buy a 4-pack of these for about $10, and it's nice that they have a color-coded end, just, you know, because kids like to argue over things. But it's just kind of nice to have. They expand pretty big, and because they fold up pretty small, you can really just throw them into your food tote that you take with you when you go camping, and you have it with you every week. So we don't necessarily use this one every week because we camp so often, we kind of get bored of marshmallows. But when people come camping with us, they always want marshmallows. So we've got a pack of these. I like the ones with the wood handle. They just seem to be a little bit better quality than plastic. And because I'm camping, I guess the wood just feels better. But that's something that's worth picking up. Still pretty good shape. You see I've burned the ends, not melted, doing pretty well. And to finish up the food portion, at number 6, I have this MSR Alpine dish brush. This thing is actually pretty cool. These brushes are really, really firm on the end, so they're basically like a little scrubber, and you can use it to scrub your camping stuff. But on the side, it also has a really nice sharp edge, and it works really well as a scraper. So we use this to scrape up our pans and stuff when we're done. You got about a 90-degree here and 45-degree angle here, and you can really get into the corners and scrape everything out. So this is about $10. This is something that we use quite a bit. And we bought this about 4 years ago, and it's still in really good shape. MSR's always made good stuff. You're gonna pay a little bit more, but it's still under 10 bucks. And it's a high quality plastic, little rubber where you can hold it right here so it doesn't slip out of your hands. But this is something that ends up being very useful, and it's small. We have a cook set, and we just keep this in the cook set so we don't lose it. This is something that's worth picking up for the 2025 camping season. And number 7 on my list is a 10-pack of these cheap Carabiners. These aren't gonna hold you, so you're not gonna be rock climbing with them. But we actually have found little useful ways of just using them around the campsite, especially to hang some stuff on ropes, like to dry. And we kind of have them hanging in our tent to hang random things on. Campsites can be dirty, so getting stuff off the ground, they're not gonna hold you or save your life or anything. It even says not for climbing, so remember that. If you have a string with a whole bunch of these, you can hang everything. So they're pretty useful. You could pick up 10 of them for 8 bucks. So number 8 on my list is some heavy duty tent stakes. These are made of plastic, and they have a spiral edge where you can screw them into the ground. You can get about 8 of these for 9 bucks. So it's a pretty good deal, especially if you just want to have extra super strong tent stakes around. And they have nice hooks on the end when you're putting up your tent. These work really well on the ground, and you screw them in and they're not going anywhere. You can use them on canopies, like over your picnic table. This is what we like to use these stakes for, because you can screw them in pretty tight, and those are a little bit bigger, and sometimes the wind will blow those around, and they have a lot of strings on them. So that's what we use these for. Nice bright orange, you'll be able to see them during the day. They don't glow in the dark. So number 9 on my list is these ultralight Coughlin's tent stakes. These are also orange. These weigh quite a bit less than these. Made of aluminum. These are made in China, so they are also imported. The nice thing about these is they're a little bit longer than your average tent stake that comes with your tent. So we have an MSR tent, and they come to about here. So they're about an extra 2 inches on these tent stakes. But you can buy these for about $1.75, and you get a whole bunch of these. I've got probably 5 or 6. We use these ones on the tent, and because they can go at an angle in quite a bit longer, they're quite a bit stronger than some of the original tent stakes that we've used. So these are another good upgrade for your 2025 year. Just some light, high quality tent stakes. So the last thing on my list, maybe as I'm getting older, I'm learning to like a lot more, is a portable fan. And the thing that I like about these fans is they are run by USB power. So if you have a power brick, you can just put this in your tent. You don't need power, you don't need cords running in, and it'll run basically as long as your power brick will last. And we actually have 2 fans. We have a larger fan. This smaller fan comes in at about $10. There's no batteries in it, so you have to be plugged in. You can also plug it into power or a laptop. So even if you're just using this at home, you know, when you're working, it's pretty quiet, and you'll give you a nice little breeze. So sometimes when you're at a campground, especially the summer, it just gets hot, and you don't need a lot of breeze, especially if you're inside of a tent when you're sleeping at night. If you just put this by your face, it's not going to give you the noise. I know some people like the noise when they sleep. It's not going to give you all of that to help you sleep, but it helps move the air, and we find these to be very useful. So this is the smaller version. I have a video about the larger versions too. This is a nice $10 fan with the USB plug-in that makes it very easy to travel around. So I hope these 10 cheap camping items can be useful to you. This is the time of year when you start going through all your camping gear and getting ready for the 2025 camping season. So I'll see you in the next video.